What's up, everybody? My name is David A Payton. I'm the actor who played Herb in Marvel's Wandavision, and I am on Red Reviews and Interviews.
Hello, everyone. I'm Red from Red's Reviews and Interviews, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by actor David Payton. How are you doing today, David?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Fantastic. Pleased to be here, so thanks so much for joining me. So to start off, can you introduce yourself? Give my viewers a brief sort of overview of your career and talk about what projects people would know you from.
Again, my name is David A Payton. You probably know me from Herb from Wandavision.
Yeah.
I did some shows before that. I was in Waves. That was directed by Trey Schultz, and I was also on an episode of Chicago PD. What else was I on? Man, I don't even know what else I was on. I was also on David Makes Man, a couple episodes, I think.
Oh, right.
So,
cool.
Yeah,
cool.
That's a little bit about me. I've been acting for about 10 years. For the past few years have been on the rise. So hopefully that's going to be the case moving forward.
Yes, absolutely. Wandavision really seemed to put you on the map, so hopefully that'll give you some more opportunities in the future.
Absolutely, that's the goal.
I want to go way back to how this whole journey started. So how and when did you become interested in acting? How did it all begin?
Great question. It's always been in me, ever since I was a little kid. I would it's funny because I was having this conversation with a very, very, very important actor that I can't mention right now.
Okay.
Having this conversation with her, and I was just telling her, how when I was growing up, I used to play pretend in my room because my mom couldn't afford, to do all the extracurricular activities that like my brothers would do. She would put them in the Boy Scouts, Pop One, and all that, but she couldn't afford to do it. I felt some type of way about that. But that's a whole nother story. But like what I would do is over the summer, being that she couldn't afford to put me in after school programs, I would literally just play pretend with myself and like create stories, create characters. So it's always been in me. It was just a matter of just, putting it to a structure and foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And once I realized that, decades later, I just started taking it seriously and just jumping right on it.
Mm-hmm. So did you undergo any sort of professional training for that, or was it just, dive straight into it?
Both. Because I had no guidance, so I didn't really know where to start. So during that time, there was how do you say, during the time of, the era of the uprise of social media and all that good stuff. And, so I had to do my research. Didn't really have like mentorship the way I wanted to. And like I said, I figured it all out on my own. And then once I realized that you had to take acting classes and all that, that's what I started doing. A lot of the classes were extremely expensive that I couldn't afford. So what I would do is I would YouTube, Google, put myself around people who were like-minded, things of that nature, and just go from there.
That's one of the biggest benefits of the social media now. You can kind of teach yourself anything.
Absolutely. And I think that was one of the main things that helped out too. And also word of mouth. I found a really good acting class, during my stint and just moved on from there.
Yeah. So do you have any inspirations as far as acting goes?
Absolutely. But I have like many inspirations, but what do you mean as far as like inspiration? Like as far as like my goals or?
Both as far as goals and as far as, actors who you look up to.
Oh man, I have so many actors who I look up to, especially Black male actors like Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Lawrence Fishburne. There's so many. Don Cheadle. There's a lot. I mean, even some that are around my age. But those are inspiration. Even new actors up and coming that are very, very inspirational just by how powerful they are and how good of an actor they are. As far as that goes. What inspired me? What was the second part? Let me make sure I'm getting that part right.
Who else inspires you, just as far as goals and motivation and that whole stuff?
Who else? I mean, like, just I have a cool support system. My family, like my brother, he's a big support system of mine. Douglas Hurt. I love him to death, and he's been, he's been on my side for like since day one, and I love him for that.
Yeah,
and it's always good to have people who encourage you. So he's one of those that's always been there for. He's definitely an inspiration for me.
So I'm curious, when you suddenly, make that decision to become an actor, what are like the people around you's opinion on that? Are they like really supportive, or are they more like, hold on, where did that come from?
It's a mix of both, and just like I said, I mean, you gotta surround yourself with supportive people.
Yeah.
Once I told, because my family was like that, like the majority of my family, even the majority of my friends. Well, I don't know if I have a lot of friends. Do I have a lot of friends? I don't know. but anyway, yeah, I was telling people my dreams, and I was like, man, I want to get into acting. I want to do this, and this. I want to be funny like Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor and all those guys. And that's another thing. A lot of Black male comedians were my inspiration as well.
Yeah.
Chris Tucker, Jamie Foxx, those guys. But I digress. But I think when I tell them about my goal of being an actor, and as soon as I hear that that they don't like it, I just stop telling them. These would be the same family members. I'll tell them about like a business venture or something like that, and they'll be like, nah, that ain't what it is. And I'm like, all right, well, so much for me telling you anything else.
Yeah, of course.
So it just goes back to me saying like I really stay focused on having people that encourage me to do what I really want to do and just follow my dreams.
Yeah. So some of the actors I've spoken with have mentioned that before getting their sort of biggest role or their big break, it was a very tough and strenuous road. Would you agree with this? Like, how did that compare with your experience so far?
Absolutely. I'm still going through my tough experience. And I don't think it actually ends until you hit a certain mark, right? Like until you get to the level of the Denzels and the Paul Bettany's and the Kathryn Hahns and those type of people, you're still it's always going to be a struggle. And truth be told, man, this is not for the weak. You're going to go through a lot of ups and downs because the way it's structured, it's not consistent. But I knew what I was getting into, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all.
Right. So in your opinion, what's like the most important skill or the most important trait for an actor to have?
That's a good damn question. Fudge. That is an amazing question. The most important skill.
Other than acting, of course.
Other than acting. Discipline. And I don't know why. Discipline and faith. That's the only thing I could think of, man. Like there's not really just one. There's so many. But the main thing is discipline. And what I mean by discipline is like, you can't quit. Like, I refuse to quit. This is not something that I've wanted to try out. Like, it was just on a sample platter. Like, it tastes good. Let me try something else. You right? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I get it.
I'm in the kitchen cooking.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I take this. I always tell people this is my crack cocaine. I just don't want to OD. You know what I mean? So, but if I have to say one thing, it's don't quit.
Yeah.
Like, fall in love with the process. Don't quit. Just keep going. I don't care how long it takes. Look, man, if Morgan Freeman can make it, so can I.
Exactly.
Samuel L. Jackson can make it, so can I. Their journeys are testimonies for me, even though like I can't compare myself to them because there can never be another one of them. But their journey is definitely a testimony and an inspiration for me to continue to keep going and stay consistent.
Absolutely. It's all about just that persistence and kind of working your way up that ladder.
Absolutely.
So I want to move on and talk a bit about your role in WandaVision, which is one of my favorite TV series in recent times. Yeah. So what were your sort of perceptions of Marvel before becoming a part of the franchise? Were you a fan?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me a bit about, that whole audition. How do you find out that you'd booked a job for Marvel?
Man, so I was working my 9 to 5, and my agent out the blue kind of like hit me up, was like, "Hey, got an audition for you." And this is during the era. I mean, we was doing tape auditions. She hit me up. She's like, "Hey, here's an audition." She sent me the email, and I read it. I was like, "It's Marvel." I was like, "Marvel? I ain't getting this. Ain't nobody finna."
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I just, I figured I'm like, let me knock this out, right? It was kind of surreal. So I was like, let me give them the best version of me and just go from there. So I sent my tape. I think like not even a week later, my agent calls me. At this time, she video messaged me, because usually if I book a role, she'll just call me like, "Hey, hon, congratulations, you booked a role. All right, time to get to work." Right? She FaceTimes me. It's like, "Hey, hon, got some good news for you." Like, "All right, what's up? Talk to me." She was like, "You got the role." I was like, "I did?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "You mess with me, ain't you?" I was like, "There's no possible way." Funny thing, I was in line at a fast food restaurant on my lunch break when she told me this. I'm like FaceTime while I'm getting my food. I don't even remember getting my food. I drive back to work. As I'm driving back to work, I'm screaming in the car to get like all my excitement out. And I kind of like calm back down, and I'm like, all right, now it's time to get to work. So it was a surreal moment. Yeah.
For sure. So was it just that one audition tape and then just straight away got the job? There wasn't any sort of callback or anything?
Nah, which was crazy. Yeah, look, the same expression you just gave, like a lot of people who ask me that say the same thing. So I'm like, yeah, cool. I didn't, because again, I just didn't realize how big of a project it was. I mean, obviously it was Marvel, right?
Yeah.
I honestly just didn't think I was gonna get the role. I was like, all right, well, again, let me give them the best version of me within this character, and let's just go from there. And the fact that I got it was just like, okay, let's get to it. Let's get to work.
I mean, you must have really sort of impressed them. I mean, if you only did that one audition and you got it straight away, you must have, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Whatever it was, I don't even care. I'm just glad I got it.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I don't know if it was like my charming personality. I don't know what it was. It was something. And I'm just glad that, I was glad that I got that opportunity. It was truly a blessing. Yeah.
It must have been just like an incredible feeling when you first stepped foot onto the Marvel set.
What? It was amazing. It was magical. I know as cliche as that sounds, it's the truth. It was really magical. Everybody was nice, professional, and just it was just a whirlwind of talent. Like it was crazy.
Were you feeling like nervous and under pressure, or did you just, play it cool, go with it?
Well, there's a part of me, there's a part of me that's on the inside was like a little kid. It was like a little fat kid in like an all-you-can-eat restaurant. And like, yes, oh my God, this is great. This is amazing. And then the rest of me was like, all right, calm down, babe. Just like, let's get to work, So the majority of the time, I was just in my element. I was able to be myself in a sense. But in the same sense, I was super excited because it was surreal. It still is. I still sit back sometimes on random occasions, like, man, I was in Wandavision. It's like, damn, I work with Paul Bettany and Kathryn Hahn and all these greats. I just yeah.
Wow. I mean, it, like you said, it just must be magical. Of course.
Absolutely.
Dream come true.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first few episodes of the show, at least, had a very sort of fun, sort of vibe. What was the atmosphere like on set? Was it similar to the tone of the show?
It was, man, it was more. Like the energy was so high, right?
Right.
And now, mind you, we was doing this during the pandemic. I mean, this was like during the meat and bones of the pandemic, where it was just everything, all the restrictions was happening, and people were very cautious, and you couldn't really interact the way you could. But at the same time, I guess we found a way to just keep that energy high, and it was just it was dope. It was really, really dope. So the energy was the same energy you saw within the show was definitely around and behind the scene.
Yeah, I get it.
Which was cool.
So how much did they tell you about your character? Did you have like an inkling that the whole reality was being controlled by Wanda, or did they just like not tell you anything?
Look, man, great question. So they told me enough to know how to act and not know anything else.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like I literally had to put my trust in the writing and in the direction of Jack Shackman, Matt Shackman and Jack Shaper. And I totally 100% trusted him. Like I trusted the direction, I trusted the writing. Because trust me, like even during times on set, I was like, what is going on? Like what's about to happen? Okay, you want me to do this, but why is that happening? Oh, okay. All right. I'm confused. Like I was anticipating watching the show just like y'all were. Because I didn't know what was going on. So I only had, like I said, I only had enough of my script to perform. Right. I kind of wish I was able to read the whole script because I like to know the beginning, the middle, and the end, especially with my character. But I trust what they gave me.
Absolutely, and they just made it so confidential, which made it so much more exciting. But did they tell you what was going on with that scene where you were like cutting into the wall, but like when you were trimming the hedge, or was that just you were just doing it?
Yeah, well, so in that particular scene, like I was given the direction that like I was in a trance, and so that was pretty much it. So when I watched the show, I seen why. 'Cause, at that point in time, I'm like, all right, I'm in a trance. I'll never forget that moment because Matt Shackman came over and said, okay, so on this particular scene, you just kind of cut through, but you're just like it's almost like you're here, but you're not here. It's like you're under a spell. I was like, all right, and that was it. So I had to use that and just
go
from there. So I watched it. It worked. So cool.
So talk to me about the set and the use of CGI. Were there any green screens, or was it just mostly sets that were built?
It was a combination. It was from my standpoint and from my character, I experienced a lot of the built sets. And there was a lot of attention to detail. I mean, from if you go back and watch the library scene, each book, those are like real books.
You're kidding.
They literally, no, not kidding at all.
My gosh.
Built a complete library with real books. I mean, like the whole setup was like it had like a library feel, like like even when when the director would yell cut, I'm like, shh, we gotta be quiet. We in a library talking. So all the sets were really built, like, I mean, like, again, from like attention to detail. And then like there was some green screen action, CGI going on, obviously. I don't think I was CGI most of the time. They was gonna CGI my skin tone. I told them to make me more chocolatey, but it wasn't in agreement.
So, I mean, with that set, Marvel are just in like a whole different ball game. It's incredible, the attention to detail.
Absolutely.
It must have been awesome to go through those decades and through all the different fashions also.
Absolutely. It really was. Like, it kind of brought me back to my little young and dumb days when I was watching these shows, as a kid. So it really brought back really great memories, and it also helped out with those types of energies that we needed on set, to help tell the story. So yeah.
So do you have any favorite memories or standout conversations with the likes of Elizabeth Olsen, Bettany Kathryn Hahn, all those sort of A-listers?
I have so many good memories with them. Oh man. So I have this thing with like me and Catherine, like when I first met her, we were kind of like joking around. We would have like I can't say what we were talking about. We have inside joke conversations.
Okay.
But I don't know. I just I'd be so afraid to have these conversations, or not conversations. I'd be so afraid to talk about this stuff because I feel like it might give away some stuff in the future. But what I'll say is this: like I'm glad that I was able to create, a long-lasting relationship with those guys, and still being able to communicate and just pick their brains when I can and just learn from them.
Yeah.
You almost caught me off guard with that
one. Almost got you. No, we definitely need to get in trouble. So when you're with, Paul Bettany or any of the actors, does that sort of put pressure on you, or does it elevate your performance and push you to sort of try your best?
It absolutely elevates me. I think because my thing is I don't get starstruck. I don't care who I'm in a room with. My goal is to collaborate. Whether it's Paul, it could be Paul Bettany, or it could be background guy number 337. My goal is to help tell the story. So regardless of who it is, my goal is to help tell the story the best way I can through my character.
I mean, that's a great sort of mindset and a great ethic to have, for sure.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Of course. Do you recall any sort of funny moments or anything that happened on set that you can talk about?
Yeah. I had something that happened to me, which I kind of talk about that all the time. As you can tell, I'm a big dude, and I'm working on getting myself back in shape. So I go hiking the last week of filming, right? Why I do that, I don't know. Out of shape, go hiking for like 8 hours, legs are like spaghetti. So in the final scene, when you see us running, I didn't know we was doing that.
Oh no.
So Matt tells us, he's like, hey guys, for this final scene, Wanda's gonna be choking you with the magic, and she's gonna tell you to run. And I was like, excuse me? It's like, do you mean like run as in like we running? Or like you gonna like, CGI us like behind the camera and we just acting like we run? He's like, no, you're gonna run. I'm like, oh man. Mind you, my legs are like spaghetti. Straight muscle failure from hiking. Didn't stretch, didn't ice up, nothing. So in that scene where you see me choking and we go down to the floor, so I'm trying to maneuver my legs so I don't feel the pain. And all of a sudden I hear a rip and there's a slight breeze.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's not
good. Nah, not at all. And I think one of the extras like, hey man, you ripped your pants. And I was like, okay. And I look down, it's like this big hole, like right in the crotch area, all the way to the crack. Yeah, nice little crack. But it was hot that day, so I guess that it worked out. It was a nice little breeze.
Well, that must have been just so embarrassing though.
Yeah, but I mean, it was embarrassing for like a split second, but
yeah,
when you're surrounded by like-minded people, we're all weirdos on the set, so it was cool. But that was a fun that
happened. Can you tell me about any maybe mishaps that happened on set? Was that something that would happen every now and again, or was it just Marvel very organized and controlled and nothing would ever go wrong?
No, well, even if there was any mishaps, I would never talk about it because I feel like and here's the reason why. The reason why I say that is because like what happens on set should stay on set. I treat it like a Vegas moment, right? You know what I mean? Like if there was ever any issues or any drama, I stay away from that, right? Even if I was to witness something like that, but there was nothing of that nature. Everything was like a smooth sailing train, like everything, like a well-oiled machine, like everything was on point.
Yeah, I would have thought so because it's, I mean, such a big company. Everything's probably, super controlled.
Right. Sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like in every aspect, in any company, there's going to be drama and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think that's something that should just stay in house. You know what I mean? Like my goal is to never disclose that kind of information.
Yeah.
To the public eye, because I think it's not important. It's about telling the story, not the drama.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Good answer.
You slick though. You really smooth. I noticed that.
Thank you.
Like, you are going places, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
You have me nervous. Slick. You just gonna ask me to. It's like, so what happened? Anybody die? Anybody?
Oh, you're funny, man.
Oh man.
Wow. Did not expect to laugh so much today.
I feel like I'm on a episode of First 48. Like, you gonna snitch? Who committed the murder? It's like, I don't know nothing. Matter of fact, I don't know nothing. I ain't see nothing. I'm not even a real actor. I was just working crafty. That's what I was doing.
So tell me, how did being in, a Marvel production compare to other films, other series that you might have worked on? What was different about it?
The energy. I think it was just it was a different energy.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from any other productions that I've worked on, because those are great opportunities. Extremely blessed to be on those. Marvel is just Marvel, just to have that attached to your name is pretty cool. You know what I mean? But I think it was the energy that separated, itself from the other productions. And not to say that the energy from the other projections were not as high, but it was just something significant, something you can't really. It's words can't explain it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's like just like a feeling to it.
Right.
Right. I get it.
Yeah.
So after being on WandaVision, after the series concluded and during, when it was airing, what sort of reaction did you receive? And did you hear about all the fan theories about your character?
Man, it was super dope. Somewhat, in a sense, kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because like some fan theory was like, I was gonna be Mephisto, or I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
But like one fan theory was like I was the devil. I was like, damn. I was like, I need to go to church. Like, Jesus, I think that was too much. But it was just cool to see all that go down. I was like, oh man, it was pretty cool. But it was great feedback though.
Absolutely.
Overall.
I mean, I was watching it as it was coming out because we were in the lockdown, and just like every single episode, straight away as soon as it sort of comes out when I wake up, watch it, straight away, and then straight onto YouTube to look at all the theories. It was just like a game of trying to see what came next. It's so much better than just releasing the whole series all at once.
Right.
Sure.
Right. That was definitely a great idea to do it.
What did you learn, or what did you sort of take from your experience on WandaVision? Has something really stuck with you?
Man, a lot of things. I think it's more so for me just falling in love with that process of how the story was being told, the relationships that I've built. Because I'm always working on my craft. I don't think that was something new that I learned. I did learn some of that I did take something from WandaVision. But I think the most part from WandaVision that I've taken with me was the process and the relationships that I've built, which was tremendously, a blessing.
Of course. Do you have any souvenirs that you've kept from your time on the show?
I absolutely do. I would show you, but I don't have them with me because I'm not at home.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't think I would show them. I probably get in trouble if I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you just casually sort of steal some things, or?
I mean, I don't condone theft, but
Good.
just certain things just kind of fell in my lap and went in my pocket and on my back and in my car and just never was replaced.
So I don't want to get you in any trouble with the next question. So if you can't answer it, that's fine.
Okay.
But it was reported a few days ago online that you will reprise your role in the upcoming Agatha series. Can you tell us anything at all? And was it a surprise for you, to find out that you'll be coming back?
Man, I have so many questions for that. No, I can't talk about that.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this though. I would love to be on that show. I would love to be back on that. I'll say that. Yeah.
Well, if the rumors are true, well, we look forward to seeing more of you and more of Herb.
I look forward to it too, if it's true.
And maybe you will be Mephisto. Who knows?
Who knows? Or something. I don't care what kind of superhero. I would love for that to be true. You know,
For sure.
it could be like the invisible person. I don't care.
So what's next for David Payton? I mean, what are your future ambitions?
I mean, I want this to be, you know, the ultimate career for me. You know, I want to get to the levels of the elites, not just for the status, but for, you know, the art of entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why, you know, it's gonna be a nonstop thing for me.
Yeah.
You know? So hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. But so tell me, what does acting mean to you, and what does you being, you know, on one of the elite, what's that mean to you?
Oh man, it means that I'm on the right track. That's the simplified way of saying it. But it means a lot to me. It means that, you know, I'm reaping the benefits and fruits of my labor. You know, this is a lot of this that I've prayed on it. You know, had a lot of conversations with God, and you know, continuing to work on my craft, continuing to, you know, build relationships and, you know, and network and things of that nature. And then learning how to fall in love and love the process, you know. Yeah.
Well, David, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk with you today, so thank you so much. Do you have any social media or any way the fans can connect with you and see what you're up to?
Yeah, I do. I have Instagram, and what's that other one? The Book of the Face.
The Book of the Face.
On my Instagram, I don't even remember my Instagram because I took a little break. Let me pull it up. I think it's D. Payton. My Facebook is My Life is a Comedy. David Payton, My Life is a Comedy. I think I'm on Twitter. I'm so out of the loop with that.
Yeah.
But I think I am on Twitter. I think my Twitter is SGD Payton at Twitter.
SGD Payton. Okay, got it. So, I mean, like I said, it's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to see what you do in the very near future. Hope to see more of you, you know, on the big screen.
Likewise, man. Thank you so much for having me, man. I know we've been trying to set this up for like the past couple of years, so
yeah,
I'm glad that we were able to finally connect. So thank you so much for having me, and much blessings to you.
You too. Take care.
All right, man. Bye.